Just got back from the gym, as well as my morning run with Kato. Me and him did 4 miles this morning. We've got a 9-miler tomorrow, which is gonna be tough. I was gonna film at the gym this morning, but my workout for today was just hamstrings and glutes. And I was like, honestly, I'm not gonna film myself doing a bunch of glute bridges and hamstring curls for YouTube, because I don't think anyone wants to watch a 24-year-old male just working on his glutes. But yeah, today is gonna be a day of eating. I'm gonna be trying my hand at making shrimp tempura sushi tonight. I've got an air fryer and I've been wanting to see whether, like, how well it can fry shrimp tempura. It's an experiment for sure, could end up bombing, but there's like a 5% chance that it'll be really good. Winter Wolves, episode 12.
Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, as long as I get paid. Bad little fire, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she getting shredded. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise. Every other night, another movie getting ready. Drip too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Off this way, doing all these shows. I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, as long as I get paid. Bad little fire, she been on my mind. Soon as I get back, she getting shredded. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise. Every other night, another movie getting ready.
So, when I was in the 5th grade, I was an overweight child, and that was plain to see just by looking at me and my body type. Went for my annual physical checkup at the doctor, and I'll never forget, it was probably one of the most embarrassing moments in my life. Basically, after doing my checkup, he came back in the room and he told my mom, who was there with me, that I was in the 99th percentile to get diabetes. Type 2, that is. Remember, he had this scatter plot with an X and Y axis, and there was this cluster of all these dots that were somewhat uniform and congealed together in the lower left-hand corner of the scatter plot. And then I remember there was this outlier in the top right, just this one dot by itself. And the doctor was like, that's you up there in the top right. The axis was a distribution for height on the height on the y-axis and weight on the x-axis. And so for my age range, I was way too heavy for how young I was and how tall I was, and I was in the 99th percentile to get diabetes. I'd always been self-conscious about my weight. I got bullied as a little kid. Got plenty of stories about that for another time. But I remember my life drastically changed after that, because that was the moment that I realized if I didn't change something about what I was eating, how I was exercising, and I was only in 5th grade. Like that's a very young age to have this realization. Some people don't have this realization until their mid-20s, mid-30s, their midlife crisis. I just remember my parents dropped everything and started doing everything they could to support me. My mom and dad would alternate days. Before school, they would wake up early with me at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and they would go for a 1 to 3 mile run with me, depending on the day, in the dark, in the cold, before school, because obviously a 5th grader can't run by themselves in the dark nowadays. There's just a whole slew of problems that could arise from allowing a child to do that, so they ran with me. We didn't have the money for a treadmill or a home gym or anything like that at the time. And then when I got to 8th grade, I was finally old enough where my dad could sign me up for Planet Fitness, and he would drive me to Planet Fitness at like 5 o'clock in the morning. That way we could come home, shower, get ready for work and school, respectively. And you know what? I lost the weight. I ended up weighing less in 8th grade than I did in 5th grade, even though I had grown 4 inches in those 3 years. So why am I ranting about this? The whole point of this series is I'm training for my first ever marathon. I've never run 26.2 miles in my life. And on today's run, I just couldn't help but look back at how far I've come, because running was where it all started for me. I mean, that's where I turned to in my most insecure, unconfident, darkest moment of my life, running is what set me down the path that led to where I am today. I think that if my younger self in 5th grade could gaze through a time glass and see who he becomes and look at me today, I think that he would be so in awe, quite frankly, of who I am as a person and how I've turned my life around. And part of this I realize I'm doing for him. I'm bringing it home. I'm doing a marathon. It's like the quintessential running activity you can do to memorialize your love to the sport, to showcase your endurance, to test your abilities. If you're watching this video, I think it can be a super productive activity. Close your eyes, genuinely close them, and imagine yourself when you were in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. Think about the child that you were, the dreams that you had, the obstacles that you were overcoming, the decisions you made at that age that sent you down the path to where you currently are. And maybe they weren't good decisions. Maybe you're in a super bad place. You've made wrong decision after wrong decision after wrong decision, and it sent you into an absolute chasm of despair, and it's time to turn it around. But I want you to picture that child and who you were, and try your best to rediscover the dreams that they had. Try to stay true to who they were. Try to be the sort of person that they would look up to, so that if they ever saw you, they would be in awe and disbelief, figuring out who they become and what they do with their life. Let's run. Alright, for breakfast I've got the Devon Special. I've already went over this before in another video, but it is a bagel with jalapeno cream cheese and a sunny side egg on top of it. The most delicious thing in the world. And then for dessert, I'm eating protein pudding with strawberries, blueberries, peanut butter, granola.
By the winner of Family Cooking Showdown.
That is faster because that is time dependent.
I think one of the weirdest things I do, and I didn't have this realization until recently when my girlfriend pointed it out, is whenever I'm eating, I always have to like be watching a cooking show, and it's like a problem because I've watched so many cooking shows at this point throughout my meals that I literally can't find one I like anymore. Like, you know how you sit down and you'll scroll through you'll scroll through Netflix trying to find like a new movie or a new TV show that you can watch? I literally scroll through all of Netflix and Hulu trying to find a cooking show that I haven't watched yet while eating. And I've gotten to the point where I literally have to wait for Netflix and Hulu to release new seasons or new original shows about cooking competitions so that I can keep watching other people cook while I eat. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and make some shrimp tempura, some asparagus tempura, and some sweet potato tempura. Like I said, I'm not even gonna pretend like I know what I'm doing. This is my first time, so this might absolutely suck. I wanna make some sushi rice to go with it, so I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this and get it cooking while I make the tempura. I used to never wash my rice, but I went to college with this really nice guy named Ju from Korea, and he like saw me cooking rice without washing it, and he taught me how that's a really big no-no in Asian culture. Alright, let's slice up some of these sweet potatoes. How embarrassing would it be if I just like absolutely sliced my thumb open on camera? Okay, I think I'm only doing 2 sweet potatoes so I can conserve the tempura batter. Okay, got these shrimp next. Basically what I was reading online is that since the shrimp is curled naturally, you want to make like 3 to 5 incisions along it. That way it'll be straight when it's cooking. because shrimp tempura is naturally straight. So you basically like make it from this to this before you batter it, which is a very pesky, meticulous task to have to do to every single one of these shrimp. Dang, I had to peel all these too. I just realized that sucks. This is like the one job I avoid getting at Thanksgiving, like because my family always does a shrimp platter. I cannot stand peeling shrimp, so I always try to sign up for something else. That way I don't have to do this. Okay, I'm done with all of that peeling, and it dawned on me in the middle of while I was cutting these shrimp to be straight, I realized that you only have to do that if they're gonna go into a sushi roll, in which case I'm not making a sushi roll because the grocery store I went to only had seaweed, like seaweed snacks, which are just little sheets or chips of seaweed. They didn't have any actual rolling seaweed paper, or any rolling seaweed sheets. So I don't have to cut these to be straight. I can literally just batter them and cook them. I'm gonna air fry them. So this is the tempura batter that I ended up getting. I have no idea if it's any good. We're gonna find out. It says you combine package with 1.5 cup of water, and that's it. You literally just put the shrimp in them there and then fry them. So we're gonna try this out. Alrighty, here we go. Pour that in just like that. Hopefully there's enough batter to go around for both the shrimp and the vegetables. Calls for 1.5 cups of water. Go ahead and whisk this up real quick. I've got the air fryer. Yeah, that's a little too clumpy. Got the air fryer currently preheating at 375. I probably should have Googled if you can air fry shrimp tempura, but I did not, so too late now. I also have no idea how long the cook time for these is gonna be. We're hoping for a nice, like, golden brown. First batch is going in the air fryer. I'll throw some of these sweet potatoes in here. Try to make sure I save enough batter for the asparagus afterwards. Should be enough to make a little bit of asparagus. This is the first batch. Once cooked, I'm gonna wait for them to cool off and give a taste test, but they don't really look at all like what you get at a restaurant, but I mean, we'll see how it tastes before judging them. They look like hush puppies, kind of. Ouch. Good boy. Good boy. I'm gonna give a taste test to the shrimp tempura by itself. Like I said, I have no idea how this is gonna taste. Okay. Not at all what I was going for, but it's actually really good. It tastes nothing like a Japanese shrimp tempura that you would get in a sushi roll. It tastes like a shrimp tempura you would get at like a Cracker Barrel or like a southern mom and pop's diner. It's definitely because I got the wrong mix. But I spent 20 minutes in Food Lion looking for a tempura mix and could not find one. I felt so stupid, so I just grabbed that southern one and got out of there. Okay, this is the final product. We've got asparagus, the shrimp, the sushi rice, sweet potato tempura, and some some sheets of seaweed. No, sorry, buddy. I'm gonna really quick squat down and give the old taste test. Already tried the shrimp. Rice with shrimp. Oh my gosh, that is killer. That is killer. My God. This is delicious.